are finally getting into it. I'm so freaking excited for this video, you guys. I just made a cup of Earl Grey tea. I want this video to be super, super cozy, but also give us a little kick, you know? So to me, that's Earl Grey. Welcome to the official kickoff video starting my journey to $100,000 net worth. That feels so crazy to say. I'm only gonna say it once. It was a one take kind of thing. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today, we are going to be kicking off my journey to building a net worth or net assets of $100,000. This is the biggest financial challenge that I have embarked on since paying off $40,000 of debt. I'm so excited and I'm so ready. I wanted to make this video to show you guys a very real person's journey, just another step on my personal finance journey, in the hopes of encouraging and inspiring you guys to take whatever steps necessary for you to focus on your personal finances. My name is Zoe, I'm 27 and I live in Montreal, Canada. I started documenting my personal finance journey about 4 years ago when I realized that the way that I was living and spending money was simply not sustainable. I was making $65,000 a year as a consultant, living paycheck to paycheck. I had a bunch of student debt. I was living way above my means and I knew nothing about budgeting or personal finance. I have basically documented every single step of my journey, paying off the debt, getting kind of a handle on my finances, implementing cash envelopes. It's been such a beautiful experience to share, and I love that we are growing on this journey together. No matter your starting point, no matter your age, none of that matters. But I just kind of want to be like a partner along your journey to motivate each other, inspire each other, and accomplish our goals together. So that's a little bit about me. If you enjoy this video, I would love for you to subscribe. Whether or not you're new, please give this video a thumbs up. Please like the video because it really does support my channel. Today's video is basically a follow-up to my what I have saved, invested, and total debt at 27 years old that I filmed earlier this year. And it's also kind of a continuation of my personal finance goals that I also filmed at the beginning of 2024. In that video, I mentioned that now that my debts are all paid off, now that my $10,000 emergency fund has been built, I want to embark on what feels very audacious journey of building a net worth of $100,000. And in that video, I mentioned that I did not know what that was going to look like, but I thought it would be fun to film a kickoff video. The amount of people who said they want to see that video was absolutely overwhelming. Now, if you're new to my channel, there is one thing you need to know about me. This is a chatty space, okay? We are not just here talking the facts, talking the hard numbers. For me, and I'm sure for so many of you, there is so much emotion, anxiety, fear, joy, the rainbow of emotions built into money and personal finance, because we all have our own backgrounds and ways that we've grown up or feared or embraced. We're all different and all of our experiences are different. So I always love to really go deep and give you guys kind of the why and the behind the scenes, everything that is going on in my heart and in my head, but also in my wallet. You know what I mean? So just be ready for a long chatty video. All right, so I'm just looking here at my notes. I wanted to say, first of all, I feel like it took me a while to sit down and film this video, and I feel like I've kind of been slacking on my personal finance lately. I've been keeping up with like my day-to-day budgeting, my cash envelopes, my budget tracker, which we will talk about in a minute. Thank you, The Line, for sponsoring this video. But the realization that I had, which I think is so interesting, is I feel like I've gotten to a place where I've really hit a lot of my base goals. In my videos, I've given this analogy before where I'm kind of comparing my personal finance journey to building a house or building like a tall building. Where paying off my debt was building the basement and building the foundation to get to the first floor. Paying off my car loan and filling up my emergency fund, we're kind of making that first floor. And from here, we're building more and more stairs to eventually build our dream home. And my dream home has a lot of floors. I feel like once the basement and the first floor got built, I kind of just sat back and felt very, very content. Now that's a good thing because I can have the tendency to, okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? But I think I sat back for a little bit too long. What's interesting is I also do this when it comes to my health and fitness goals. I will work out really intensely. I'll eat super well to the point where I start seeing results and feeling stronger. And as the first sign of results, I kind of take a step back, or I'm like, okay, I saw some results, and I take a break. I realized that I was doing the same thing with my finances where I was feeling comfortable and I was feeling pulled into that lifestyle creep again and thinking like, no, I'm good. Let me just go and treat myself. Let me not worry about my goals for a little while. So once again, I think it's okay to bask in our success for a little bit, but we never want it to deter us too much and have us stray too far off of our path. Because I know firsthand, it's really easy to get yourself back into debt and take back on maybe some not so great habits. So we're back on track, we're back in the straight and narrow. And for me, April is really going to be the month of getting my shit together in terms of my finances, hence starting this kickoff. So what is net worth? If any of you guys are watching this video and you've made it, through my rambles and you're like, okay, but what is someone's net worth? Investopedia defines net worth as a person or corporation's assets minus their liabilities. Now that's very businessy, and for the sake of this video, we are of course talking about personal finance, so we're gonna leave the corporation out the door. So it is a person's assets minus their liabilities. Assets are anything that are expected to grow or basically return money at some point. Liabilities are something that are expected to diminish in value or that will make you owe money at some point. Money in a savings account is an asset. Stocks are an asset. You can also consider things like gold an asset. A Hermes bag can be considered an asset, vintage cars, and of course, things like property and homes. Liabilities, I want you guys to think of debt, lines of credit, credit card debt, mortgages, car loans. These are all examples of liabilities. Now, you might also hear people referred to as liabilities, but we won't count that in this video. So to put it really, really simply, it's everything that you have in your bank account minus all of your debt, plus your home if you own your home. For the longest time, I strongly disliked the term net worth because it made me feel like my worth, my self-worth was gonna be tied to my net worth, therefore tied to my finances. When I had debt, when I had student loan debt, and when I was in university basically incurring all of that debt, I can tell you guys that I felt very, very worthless. I did not have a strong sense of self, and I had no self-worth. I genuinely felt that my debt made me a worthless person. How horrible, right? Like, how horrible. So I was worried that going on a journey and caring about my net worth would somehow make me tie that net worth to my self-worth, and I could spiral back down that path. I struggle a lot with comparing myself to others, and I also didn't want to go down that path of, oh, my net worth is this, that person's net worth is that, therefore I am worth less than them as a person. I've pretty much shed all of that, but what really, really helped me was a comment from, I believe their name was Jason, where they said, if you don't like the term net worth, call it net assets, because that's basically what it is. So of course, in calling it net assets, we also need to think about considering our liabilities, such as debt. But I really liked the way rephrasing it to net assets really changed the way I perceived net worth in my mind. It's like, yeah, it's not about worth and my self-worth, it's just about the money in my bank account. And that doesn't need to define me. So shout out to Jason for that comment because it really, really did reframe my mind, and I wanted to share it with you guys in case it can help as well. On this journey, if you are along it with me, I do not want us to be comparing ourselves or just tying our self-worth to our money in the bank or our debt. Don't want that for us. So that's how I'm now able to confidently embark on this journey, is because I've reframed net worth in my mind to net assets. The other reason I feel so strongly and so excited to do this now is because I am someone who's very, very motivated by a challenge. I was motivated by becoming debt-free. I was motivated by filling my emergency fund to $10,000. And like I said at the beginning of this video, since achieving those goals, I've kind of just been sitting back and relaxing a little bit too much. I did set the big goal of putting $20,000 towards my RRSP, but in the first few months of the year, I am already very much on track to that goal. So I think that too had me feeling a little bit comfortable. So I want a goal that is challenging. I want a goal that is stimulating and motivating, and that's what we are going to be setting today. So in this kickoff video, we are going to be going over my starting point. How much do I have right now? how long is it gonna take me to grow my assets to $100,000? And we're going to be talking about what happens after I achieve $100,000 in net assets. So if that all sounds good to you, let's head over to my desk and start talking some real numbers. Welcome to my desk, you guys. You can see that I have my budget tracker behind me. This is actually a sample, but this is what I use. These cash envelopes and this budget tracker have been my absolute best friends, game changers, lifesavers along my budgeting journey. It is when I implemented both of these things that the ball really started rolling a whole lot quicker. I finally felt like I had control and a system for tracking my spending and staying on track month after month. You guys see me use this system every single month in my videos. Both of these products are, of course, from The Line, a small Canadian business that makes the best budgeting and stationery products. They have been such an amazing partner on my financial journey and such an amazing partner on my channel. I want to thank them for sponsoring this portion of the video. On my journey to building my net worth of $100,000, both of these tools are going to be crucial. I will be using my cash envelopes for my day-to-day budgeting, and this budget tracker is a Google Sheets tab that stays open on my computer 24/7. I love using it to check in with my budget throughout the month and track my progress. Every single month, I come into my budget tracker and set my budget for the month. You guys can see we are currently in the April tab. I will come in here and write out my budget category by category. Throughout the month, as I spend, I click over to this expense log. I input whatever I bought with the date. And just like magic, you guys, it shows up in the monthly tab, showing me my budgeted amount, what I've actually spent, and what I have left. I consult this on an almost daily basis because it works hand in hand with my cash envelopes to make sure that I'm on budget. But if you don't use cash envelopes, this is still a really, really handy way to keep track and kind of live track your spending throughout the month. I'm sure we've all been there where we think we're doing really, really well with our finances. The end of the month rolls around and we see our bank statements and we're like, oh my gosh, how did I spend that much money? I've also been there where I felt really anxious about money and I felt like I wasn't doing super well with my finances. And then the end of the month would roll around and I'm like, oh, I'm actually doing fine. So this allows me to have real-time check-ins on a daily basis, multiple times throughout the day, or even on a weekly basis, checking in with my budget. Now, I also love that along with my spending, I can also track my bill payments. So things like rent, my phone bill, internet. I can track my income. And super, super pertinent to this video, I can track my savings, my debt repayment, and my investing. At the top of the monthly tab, I see my month at a glance, so I can see how I'm doing and I can see a nice monthly breakdown of where my money is going. As the months go by and you continue to fill out this budget tracker, the yearly summary will automatically update so you can get a really, really nice snapshot of your year at a glance. And of course, your full year once it's been a full year of you using this budget tracker. Now, the best part is you do not need to wait until next January or next New Year's to get started. All of the formulas are pre-built into this budget tracker, but everything else is input by you. So you can get started right away, any month of the year. This is such an affordable way to get started with budgeting. When I first looked at this and I saw all the graphs, I was like, oh, no. This is gonna be way too complicated for me. But let me tell you guys, it is so easy to use. Give it a try, you have nothing to lose, and it is a great first step or continued step in your budgeting journey. And I am not gonna leave you guys hanging because of course I have a code for you. Zoe10 will get you 10% off your entire purchase on The Line's website. I will have the budget tracker as well as the cash envelope starter kit linked down below. I know so many of you have already gotten the budget tracker, which makes me so happy. I really hope you're enjoying it and I hope you find it helpful. And if you haven't gotten it yet, this might be your sign to get started. So let's talk about my starting point. My starting point is today. I went into my bank accounts, took a look at my investments, my savings to get you guys the exact numbers that I currently have. So in terms of the starting point for my investments, there have been a few changes. The biggest change is in my RRSP because I actually made a really big investment from my tax savings. I put $15,000 towards my RRSP. because I wanted it to lower my taxable income given that tax season is here and now. That $15,000 is last year's money, so I am not counting it towards my big $20,000 goal, just so you guys know. So with that deposit, as well as the monthly deposits that I have been making in 2024, the RRSP now sits at $49,315. My tax-free savings account is at $7,432. And my crypto, you guys, actually went up. I think it was still quite low when I filmed my Everything I Have Save Invested Debt video. And now it's at $852. So we'll see where that goes. The last category I have is just some miscellaneous kind of random investments, and all of those added up to $1,000. So my total investments are currently $58,599. That is the starting point there. My next asset category is funds. So we have my emergency fund that is fully filled up at $10,000. We have my travel fund, which has $40 in it because I just got back from a trip. The Maggie fund has $0. I do think I have some cash in here, but it's not yet deposited into my account. So we'll just say we're starting at 0. And my car fund is at $0. So in terms of my net assets, my total savings is at $10,040. That brings my current total to $68,639. Now for this kickoff, I have decided not to include my checking account because it fluctuates a lot, and I also receive business payments to that checking account. So I don't want that to skew my personal net worth, mixing it up with business numbers. And I've decided not to include my car. I just personally do not see my car as an asset. I plan on keeping my car for a long time, so it's not like I'm gonna liquidate it anytime soon. As we know, cars depreciate in value. But funny enough, prior to filming this video, I did look up how much a 2015 Tiguan is going for, and it's anywhere between $12,000 and $15,000. And I paid a little over $15,000 for it. So in terms of value, it's actually holding its value pretty well, but I don't want to include it in this calculation. For me, it's not about including everything I can in order to hit this number faster. This is very much not a race. I don't want to inflate this number just so that I can hit it faster. I want this to be a challenge, and I want this to be stimulating and encouraging. And at the end of the day, I'm not doing this for anyone else. I'm not doing this to say I have a net worth of a certain amount. It's really all for me. So that's why I'm excluding those two categories. Now, I don't own a home. I don't own property. I don't own a condo. I don't have any other assets. Really, everything I have is in my bank account. So once again, that total is $68,639. So that is the starting point. Now, what's next? We lost signal. Oh, she's back. Now, as I've mentioned, my big goal for the year is to contribute $20,000 to my retirement investments. And my smaller goal is to fill up those sinking funds that I just mentioned. My goal is to have $2,000 in the travel sinking fund, $1,000 in the Maggie fund, and $1,000 in the car fund. So the first number that I calculated is getting all of those funds filled up to their goal amount. So keeping at $10,000 in the emergency fund, and then $2,000, and then $1,000, and then another $1,000, totaling up to $14,000. With my current investments, that would bring my net assets to $72,599. Now, if we add the RRSP goal, excluding what I've already contributed, the remaining amount for 2024 is $15,500. That would mean that if I hit all of my goals by the end of 2024, my net assets would be $88,099. So getting really, really close to that 100K mark. Basically, it's $11,900 away from the $100,000 goal. Now, I calculated that, and that would mean contributing an extra $1,222 a month, which is a lot of money and not something I'm sure I can commit to every single month. So I've decided to set two goals. The big goal would actually be reaching $90,000 at the end of 2024. So filling up all of my sinking funds and hitting my $20,000 RRSP goal, plus a little bit extra because, you know, I like to round up. And that would be the big goal. That already in itself is super, super challenging. It's something that I'm pretty confident I can hit or at least get very close to. but it's not going to be easy and it's not going to be passive. My audacious goal would actually be to hit $100,000 in net assets by the end of the year. This could also come from earning interest on my investments performing well, but most likely it would come from me maybe earning more money and really actively putting money into my investments. I was gonna say and my funds, but the funds are kind of capped. So yeah, it would really be in my investments, probably focusing extra money into my TFSA, which has been a little bit neglected up until now. So those are kind of two different scenarios. I'm gonna go for the big goal and then seeing how things go. Maybe if I'm able to increase my income, then I can go for the audacious goal. I'm sure a lot of you guys watch videos from the YouTuber Nisha. She is amazing. She is so smart. And when I watched her $100,000 video, the first thing she said was, you gotta get your income up. You can save more money, but the best thing you can do is get your income up. So that is definitely something that is at the forefront of my mind. But if I'm not able to hit the audacious goal, that is okay. I feel like I'm already actually way farther along towards hitting $100,000 than I thought. So I'm already really happy. And it means that most likely I'm going to hit this number in 2025. Once I do hit the net assets of $100,000, I will be setting the new goal of net investments $100,000, and that will probably be my big project of 2025. Which is crazy to think about. So my plan is basically business as usual. The goal is to hit $1,000 a month to my RRSP, and I really need to get serious about filling up these funds. I feel like I've been kind of stalling when it comes to filling up my funds, especially since New Year's. I built the vacation fund and then I spent it all, and I have not been motivated to refill these funds. So my goal is going to be to start contributing $500 a month towards the funds, and then extra money needs to go to my RRSP and to my TFSA to really boost those accounts. Now, I think I have an idea of why I have not been motivated to start saving for these funds, and it goes back to the tooth story that I told you guys, I think in my financial goals video. Basically, I need to get some dental work done, and it is going to cost upwards of $2,000. I have no motivation to save this $2,000, like none. So I've decided to take the money from my emergency fund, get the tooth sorted out. You guys might hear Maggie drinking in the background. It means she approves of my plan, because I'm going to be so much more motivated to refill my emergency fund than I have been to save for this tooth. I'm also comfortable leaving the emergency fund around the $8,000 mark, paying for the tooth, refilling my other funds, then going back and getting the emergency fund back up to $10,000. So seeing as that's my blocker and seeing as I really want to take action today, let's call my dentist and make the appointment for my tooth, because no more stalling, we mean business, okay? I'm gonna call her.
Good afternoon, Dr. Ansari's office.
Hi, I need to make an appointment for putting the crown on my tooth.
Zoe?
Yeah.
You had the implant put in and then you waited.
What about next week? Isn't it crazy how so many of the things we put off take 3 seconds? As silly as it sounds, I genuinely think that just getting that out of the way is going to set the stage for me moving forward. I am so excited. I really hope you guys this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, talking about money with me, and kicking off our journeys to $100,000. I just want to say before we close, I feel like I'm starting with more of a leg up than I expected, but this leg up is the result of many years of hard work. So I do not want you comparing your starting point to mine. We all have different starting points. The important thing is that you start. No need to make excuses, no need to compare. I've been there, and that only sets you back. Starting where you're at and starting small is the way to go. I know you guys can do it. I'm so excited to keep you posted on this journey. Thank you so much for your never-ending support. It truly means the world to me, you guys. It makes me so happy and excited to grow together and talk about finances together. So thank you so much for giving me the platform to do so. I'm just in my feels now, so I'm gonna stop talking. Thank you again for watching. Thank you, The Lion, for sponsoring, and I will see you so soon. Bye.